Well, hello my dearies all over the world. So today this is going to be a new episode. Very well. Now, okay, so I would like to talk about a little bit of a very nice phenomenon in Hungary. I know that this is probably not a unique thing around the world, but hey, it's ours, so we should enjoy that. Now, the thing I'm talking about is the Magyar Garda. I may have maybe late for that. Anyway, so the Magyar Garda, that's better. Now, this is a sort of pseudo-military organization. It means it's not real, but they do things like the military. They have a sort of rank system. They do pay a lot of attention to discipline and do that. Now, they are considered extremists, so that's why they are really, really controversial. That was it's going to be okay. Now, they are possibly organized by the Jobbik political party, but I don't really want to make a connection here. It's just they don't really like minorities like gypsies and stuff. So they openly admit that they don't really like them. Now, the thing is that if you don't like somebody, that's fine. But we are really, really sensitive around this subject because we haven't really solved the gypsy problem. Well, so you can understand. They were actually, let's say, crushed around, I don't know, 2010, so last year. But they continue to exist. Is it a good thing? Well, I don't know. They certainly helped the ones who were in need when there were floods last year and before that. They certainly hate gypsies, and there were crimes committed, well, not in the name of this organization, but you know Hungarians, when they see somebody in military uniforms, they actually think that, okay, now he is a part of this organization. So, yeah, well, that's what I wanted to tell you. Nothing more. Maybe, of course, I should have talked about the fact that they held a swearing ceremony on March 15, but it wasn't a big deal. But it's certainly worth mention them, so you should know about them. Okay, now moving on to Fidesz. Now the leading party is in silence. Well, they're not in total silence, but whatever they say, it's not really. It doesn't really seem the truth. And I'm talking about, of course, that they say that, okay, dude, you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. Well, and that's it. There's nothing else to say here. They don't really say that they are right. They don't really say that anymore. They also don't say that, okay, we have the solution to all of your problems. So, you know, what do they do these days? Well, they certainly are being criticized by German and Polish MPs, and even José Manuel Barroso told that it seems that in Hungary we don't really understand how democracy works. Because on March 15, Orban had a speech. On March 15, he said, we will definitely not be a colony of the European Union, and aliens will not dictate what we should do. Well, it's really interesting considering that they don't really want to tell us what to do. they want to tell us what not to do, and that is we should not deny all the European Parliament constitution stuff. They suggest stuff, actually. So I have to be frank, they do say what we should do, but these are only suggestions. And saying to a nation that they want to colonize us is just ridiculous. I know, it's a part of a speech, it's part of the manipulation, but I don't like being manipulated. At least not this way. So, they expressed through José Manuel Barroso, the European Parliament President, that they do not want to do that. So, these are only just suggestions they do. The fact that they we didn't get overrun by, the NATO or any military force, it should tell us that we are not really a colony. Even the United Kingdom tried that military thing with the United States, if you can remember. And that is a colony. But what do I know? I'm just making these stuff, making these shows and stuff. Alright, so, about March 15, there wasn't any revolution. Which is a little bit disappointing, I didn't have, I hadn't had these things prepared if there would have been a revolution. No, that's not right. Anyway, without a revolution, I only have general things to say. Orbán Viktor held a speech. There were no blood or gore, no revolution. But the LMP did say that we need a new government, which they have been saying for quite a while now. But they actually want now 200,000 signatures. So if they knock to your door, because you are Hungary, I know, I have some Hungarian viewers. If they knock on your door asking for signatures, probably in a very amateurish way, then that's LMP. And of course they are recruiting volunteers, because, they are not enough people. Will we have a government? A new government? I don't know. It doesn't seem likely, because people seem to like the current leadership of this nation. Is it good? Not really, but it's not, they didn't bring down to a third world nation level. They didn't bring down the country. Anyway, moving on. So I was browsing for some news about New Zealand, and I actually found something. It was very interesting. It says, Child Abuse Prevention Network Jigsaw Family Services has rejected criticism by Chris Cowie's lawyer of a new law which comes into effect today, making it an offence not to report known child abuse. And the major criticism is that I don't think even a third world country needs this sort of legal intervention to protect children. Oh yeah, sure. So in third world countries they do not really abuse and kidnap children and make them do horrible things. And in India they don't really abuse kids, for prostitution and stuff. Yeah. Not everyone is so clever in New Zealand. So at least I have something to criticize in that fine country, but not the law. And this is the difference between Hungary and New Zealand. I can criticize idiots in New Zealand, but I can't criticize the law, because actually it's a nice thing that anyone who do not report child abuse could get at least or up to 10 years in prison. Yeah, that's a long. Actually, we have some precedents in Hungary, not about child abuse, because no one get to jail because of child abuse. No, that's just a normal thing in Hungary. But we do have jail time, for example, killing people in car accidents. So some famous people in Hungary had, I don't know, half a year in a prison or maybe less. So, yeah, I think that was a good example. And now moving on to reports from Canada. In Canada, they had a little cold there with snow that melted soon as it hit the ground. So, because the person who sends news to me lives in the best climate for Canada, near to the west coast of the Pacific Ocean, on Vancouver Island, I believe they have a very nice weather. But in Hungary there is also very nice weather these days, so, don't get so competitive. Well, this area we're talking about is shielded by mountains, a sort of rain shadow. Thus they get less rain than the rest of the west coast. Mountains are very good. For example, in Australia I learned that mountains keep the rain from the inner parts of Australia. Yeah, no sort of that. That's not entirely true, I know, but I learned it in geography class, which was a long time ago. So I don't know. So, as a consequence, many Canadians came there, or here, I'm just reading it, came here to live when they retired. The area was influenced greatly by the British, and its cultural influence can still be seen. We do get a little snow during the winter month, but large snowfalls are rare. But more about Canada. The French were the first Europeans to colonize Canada after the native people. It is believed the natives were mistakenly called Indians. Yeah, we actually know that because Columbus, who, discovered actually America, thought that he reached the shores of India. Therefore, he called them Indians. Now, Indians in the Hungarian language are considered to be the Native Americans, and people from India, well, we have a very similar word for that. So, the Hungarian word for Native Americans is Indian, and people from India, Indiaiak, because they are from India. Yeah. But actually, I believe that they call them Aboriginals or natives. So, Canada. So there is no confusion there. But still, the Spanish did explore the coastline and named some of the geography, but they never really settled here. The fur trade was a major reason for European interest. Fur hats were in style at the time, and the Europeans traded with the natives for beaver pelts, coats or whatever. Most of the natives were killed by the smallpox disease the Europeans brought with them. Oh yeah, they did that. There used to be more natives here than all of the Europeans in Europe. And I'm not sure if we're talking about Europeans right now, because I don't know, we are about 600 million. But I believe this mention is about Europeans at that time. There used to be more natives here. Most of them were killed off or very badly treated by the colonists. Yeah, white people do that stuff. Yeah. Many of the natives live in reservations. Well, I have to tell the truth. Maybe white people are the worst kind of people, but what do I know? Mayans were pretty bad, you know, because of the whole take the heart out stuff. But that's just a legend, or maybe an archaeological fact. Who knows? Surely I don't know. Most of the French-speaking people live in the province of Quebec, eastern Canada. This is on the other side of a very large country. Yeah, we do have the odd French person living throughout Canada, but we also have many other nations and races living here now. Well, like in Hungary or in the USA, and yeah, that is actually a part. That's actually part of the globalization, and some say it's bad, some say it's good. Well, I don't know. It seems nice, but you know, I can call people on the internet. They don't have to come here, and I don't have to go there. Surely, in 20 years, I don't even have to get up to go to work. Well, I don't really have to get up right now to go to work, so, yeah, well. Many English don't like being taught French, as there aren't many opportunities to speak it unless you want a job in the government. So they actually do have to speak two languages in the government. That is an interesting news. The French in Quebec have laws to protect their language and culture from English, which is only natural. French are very, very proud of the language and their culture. All packaging on food labels has to be in both official languages. Oh yeah. So, today we are going to talk about endings, which this book calls suffixes. But regardless, I'm going to talk about them as endings or attachments, because to my little world, it's more logical. So, the basic idea behind the endings is that Hungarian words often receive endings. And I believe this is an understatement. Almost every single Hungarian word has an ending at some point of its life. So I can't tell a single Hungarian word in a sentence without some kind of ending. Using words in their sort of dictionary form, in their plain forms, is quite rare. Most of these endings have two or more forms. The vowel of the suffix, or the ending, must harmonize with the vowel of the word it is added to. So it's all about sounds, really. Yes. The following rules for how to choose the right ending apply for all parts of speech. So let's go through the rules. Most endings have two forms. One for the front vowel, you know, the high-pitched sound words, and one for the back vowel from the low ones. And I believe we have already talked about this. Bon, ben, roll, röl, unk, unk. You know the story. Now, words with front vowels uses the front vowel version. So, üvegbe and not üvegba. Ágnestől, not Ágnestól. Beszélünk, not beszélünk. This, I believe that you can actually, after a little while, feel the harmony of the words. It's like music. Yeah, well, let's hope that. Now, the low and the mixed sort of vowel words receive the low attachments. So asztalon, not asztalön or asztalen. Pálról, not pálről. Olvasunk, not olvasünk. Teraszon, not teraszön. Ilonáról, not ilonáról. Csinálunk, not csinálunk. I know that to you, probably both versions look real, sound real, and basically feel real. And this is the problem with languages, actually. To a foreign ear, everything sounds, and to the foreign eye, everything looks absolutely perfect the way, we use. But to the native ears and to the native eyes, actually there's a difference. Perhaps it's a sort of national pride, I don't know. But if you want to speak and write Hungarian, you have to use the proper endings. So let's move on without any wasting of time. Endings with more than two forms. Now, some of the endings have more than two forms. For example, hoz, hez, höz, szor, szer, ször, ok, ek, ök. Now, if the word contains ö, ü, or ü as a last vowel, then we should use the versions of the endings. So chauffeur höz, not chauffeur hoz, but chauffeur has, ötször and küldök, and not any other forms. Alright, so the thing is, we need to talk about, for one little last time, is the E sound, because sometimes to the Hungarian ears it is a low sound for some reason. I believe we are just crazy like this. So most of the times, like filmről, viszem, it's good, but sometimes it's hídról and iszom. I am Hungarian and I don't even really understand why this is happening. Probably it's all about balance, because it would be weird. Every language has a certain harmony, and if 10 or 20 million people speak a language, they usually set up some kind of rules for harmony. So the language could be without discords and dissonant words, if that's a valid word in English. So much like in music, languages have a sort of harmony in them, a sort of mathematical rules. So if you don't want a word to look or sound silly in that language, to look funny, then you really should make some additional rules so you could use these words without laughing your ass off. Okay, now, if there is a foreign word, and this is really the last thing we talk about, the final vowel determines the vowel of the suffix, but obviously we use the pronunciation of the foreign language. So it's computer, software, and other things. We Hungarians really like to Hungarianize words. So after a while, we will make up something instead of the foreign word with a Hungarian pronunciation, with a Hungarian writing mode. Alright, I believe this is what we needed to talk about in order to solve all the 5 exercises that are ahead of us. So let's go. So let's start with the first exercise, because usually it is a fairly good idea to start at the beginning and go till the end. Okay. Now we have to decide if it's ball or böl. I mean the ending. It says that we should produce sentences, which is a fairly good idea, mostly because jövök, meaning I come from somewhere, is always the same. We only have to decide if it's ból or böl. Okay, A is good. Olaszországból jövök. I can tell that it is a good Hungarian sentence, which is not a surprise, I believe. Lengyelország. It seems that it's fairly low, at least the end syllable, so let's risk it. Lengyelországból jövök. And it's good. Mozi. It's a mixed. Now the rule says that mixed words usually get the low part. So, a moziból jövök, which means I come from the cinema. A színházból jövök, yeah, because it's mixed. I come from the theater. A könyvtárból. That was very easy. You know, all mixed is quite easy. Japánból jövök. Az Egyesült Államokból jövök. A boltból jövök. A kertből jövök. Which is not a surprise, not because that I'm come from the garden, but because it's a front vowel word. Londonból jövök. And we're finished. Let's go on to the next exercise. Let's choose the attachment, it says. Kiről beszélsz? Who are you talking about? A fogorvosról, Zsuzsiról, egy rendőrről, Erzsi néniről. Kinél vagy? Where are you at? Whose place are you at? A fogorvosnál, Zsuzsinál, egy rendőrnél. Now, why on earth would I be at a policeman? It's certainly not a police station. Maybe I'm visiting. Okay. Sorry about the interruption. Erzsi néninél. Kitől jössz? Who are you coming from? A fogorvostól, Zsuzsitól, egy rendőrtől, Erzsi nénitől. Kire vársz? Who are you waiting for? A fogorvosra, Zsuzsira, egy rendőrre, Erzsi nénire. Kinek telefonálsz? Who are you phoning to? A fogorvosnak, Zsuzsinak, egy rendőrnek, Erzsi néninek. Who have you fallen love into? If that is a proper expression. So who do you like? A fogorvosba, Zsuzsiba, egy rendőrbe, Erzsi nénibe. And as a last effort, I will try to talk a little bit about the meaning of fogorvos, Zsuzsi, rendőr, Erzsi néni. Because it might give you a good insight what we have told with these expressions. So, a fogorvos is quite easy, it's the dentist. Zsuzsi is mostly not very common these days, a name of a woman or a girl. Egy rendőr means a policeman, or a police officer, to be politically correct, of course. Erzsi néni, Erzsi is a name of a woman. It's not so common anymore. Mostly elderly people are called Erzsi, which explains the néni, because it's a sort of aunt title. Shouldn't be related, or you wouldn't have to be related to call someone Erzsi néni, but it's like in English sometimes you're not really related, but still you call people aunt or uncle, Jimmy or something like that. At least I've heard this. Number 3. Hoz, hez, huz. This is our very first 3-form suffix or ending or attachment. Now we really have to pay attention at this one. The question is, hová mész? Or in my original sort of dialect, hová mégy? It should be like that. Mostly because I come from the countryside. So, hová mész? Where are you going? Tamáshoz megyek. Which is a very easy response. I go to Tom's place. Now, remember, or if I haven't told you that, then you shouldn't remember, but just try to in the next couple of years. If I go to someone's place, in Hungarian, we don't say place. We only say the name. So, in English, it would be like, I go to Tom. But we don't use... yeah, okay. Never mind. That's going to be another lesson. Megyek is I go or I'm going. Now let's do this. Zoli bácsihoz megyek. Zoli bácsi is the equivalent, is the man equivalent of Erzsi néni, if you're wondering. Fodrászhoz megyek. I am going to the hairdresser's. Julihoz megyek. Juli is a, well, not so common name of a woman. It's a female name, if we want to be scientific. Masszőrhöz megyek. I am going to a massage something. It's not really a place, it's a person. So it's a masseur, yeah, or a masseuse. I'm not sure about this, but something like that. Ernő, which is a man's name. Ernőhöz megyek. Esther is at least a quite common name of a woman. Eszterhez megyek. Kozmetikus. Kozmetikushoz megyek, which means I'm going to, well, I've heard an expression like I'm going to a nail salon or something like that, but we don't really have saloons most of the time. We have people doing their stuff. So, kozmetikus is a sort of cosmetician, if I can call it, you know, it's a nail person. Zöldséges. It's quite easy, that's the groceries. Zöldségeshez megyek. But again, it is a person. So zöldséges is a person who sells vegetables. Well, alright, let's go to the fourth exercise. Ok, ek, ök. Now, ok, ek, ök creates a sentence with only one verb, because it means I do something if it's attached to a verb. So the question here is, mit csinálsz? What are you doing? Or what do you do? Since we don't have two present tenses, it's quite easy to ask things in Hungarian because we don't have to pay attention to the tenses. We only have three. I think I've mentioned them before, but let's go over them again, just for fun. So there's a present tense, the future tense, and the past tense. Easy enough, isn't it? So, siel és pihen. These are two verbs, and there's an end between them. These are the forms coming from the dictionary, straight from the dictionary, and if we attach ok, ek, or ök to them, it means that I ski and I relax, or I'm skiing and I'm relaxing. Sielek, pihenek. That was quite easy, wasn't it? Sportol és olvas. Sportol means doing some sports, olvas means to read. Sportolok és olvasok. Very good. Süt és főz. Okay, now we have two separate words which we use commonly when it comes to cooking. As far as I know, English uses one basic word to describe cooking in general, which is, well, you've guessed already, cooking. But in Hungarian, it does matter if you süt or főz. So süt means to fry something, not in oil, but to generally not to apply something in a soup form. But főz means that you make something in a form of a soup or something like that. Because we have very, very dense soups. I don't know if it's the right word, dense, but that's the only one coming into mind. It's a sort of vegetable dishes. We call them főzelék. Which means you take some potato and you make a sort of potato soup, but it's so, dense. It's not very a liquid form anymore. But it's not really a true gelatinous form. But we'll talk about this later. Maybe I'll do some sort of cooking channel stuff later, I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to clear up the difference. Süt. Sütök és főzök, because there is ü and ö in it, in the word, both of them. Szörföl és kirándul. Szörfölök és kirándulok. Now, actually, there was a difference, because szörföl is full of ös, and the other one is mixed. Iskolába jár, és magyarul tanul. Oh, sorry, szörföl means surfing, and kirándul means hiking. So, iskolába jár. Jár is a different word for going. Iskola is school. Now, if I go to school in English, I have only one expression. But if I regularly go to school in Hungarian, it's not iskolába megyek, which literally means go, but rather iskolába járok. Jár is going regularly to somewhere. Okay, magyarul tanulok. Tanul is learn or study. Magyar is, well, I hope you know this, it's Hungarian. Iskolába járok, és magyarul tanulok. Remember, in Hungarian, you don't start with your subject. Many or often times you start with your object, or the place you're going, or the time. F. Ír és beszél. Ír means writing, beszél means speaking. So, írok és beszélek. A piacra megy és bevásárol. Piac is the market. Megy, well, I already explained this. It means to go. Bevásárol, it means that someone does the shopping. So it's not just buy something, you do the actual shopping. It doesn't matter what you buy. A piacra megyek és bevásárolok. Very good. So I have to clear up something at this point. I may have talked about this before, but sometimes I say to go, sometimes I say it means going, but I really mean the same thing. But this is not a high-budget show, so I don't have to pay attention. And then that's, you're sort of unlucky. You have me, which is good, but you don't have a high-budget show. At this point, if anyone wants to, toss $1 million or, to my bank account, you're welcome. But if you don't want to, well, that's okay too. Let's go to the 5th exercise. This is, so far, the hardest exercise we have ever had to do, because you have to, or in this case I have to, or we both have to make sentences out of words. Hová mész? Or in my dialect, hová mégy? Where do you go? And let's choose. I say, Marihoz megyek. Very good. I know that the exercise doesn't say that, but it's harder than this way. Hol van a nadrág? Where are the trousers? But remember, Hungarian uses only the singular form of trousers, jeans, and stuff. Az ágy a földön van. Now that was quite creative, but it's not the solution of the exercise. I need to pay attention, so we're talking about the trousers. A nadrág a földön van. Okay. Mit csinálsz? I hope you know this. It means what are you doing? Főzök. Well, that's a good one. I'm cooking. Hol vagy? A Sziget Fesztiválon vagyok. Wow, that's very good. If you don't know or not familiar with the Sziget Festival, it is called, where the Sziget is the island, it refers to the Hajógyári Sziget, where there is a quite famous European festival held in every year around August. That's a music festival. Mit csináltok? It asks, what are you doing, but not you, only one person, but 2 or more people. Tanulunk. All right. Hányszor sportolsz egy héten? That's interesting. How many times do you do sports a week? Let's see. I do. 5-ször sportolok egy héten. So 5-ször sportolok egy héten. And these are all the exercises. If you noticed, the fifth exercise in my little word was quite different because it actually asked us to just do the attachments, so Marihoz, Ferihez, etc. But it's not like it would be beneath me to do it that way, but I always like to solve my exercises creatively. However, this is your homework, if you want to do that, to do the fifth exercise according to the original description. So put the attachment to all to these words, I mean. I hope I explained it quite well, what your task will be. So if you want to solve it, you can use the comment section, or you can write me an email about that. And after a while, I'm going to publish the actual results. Alright then. Thank you very much for learning with me.